What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Full Coverage Football Show. My name is Jeremy at CLE on the Twitterverse. That is my tag team partner, Mr. Drew Ward at Detroit Dave 7. How you doing tonight, brother?
Doing well, my friend. Good to be back with you. How are things with you?
Oh, man, they're doing good. Where you at tonight with that skyline? I'm trying to figure out
I
the buildings behind me.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. It was just like a picture I saw and I clicked on it and I was like, that's the one we're gonna go with. I would
Hey,
assume like New York or something, probably.
I was thinking New York, but I couldn't tell if it was New York or not. I mean, I dig it.
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I was like, I had no
I like
idea.
how I didn't notice it at first, and then as soon as we come up live, I'm like, you know what? Let's throw the show right off track from the start, just like we always do, and figure things out. Brother, we got so much to talk about. We've been gone for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good show. We got the 420 edition of the show, led by a guy named Deebo, which is fitting as all hell. And we're gonna get to Deebo. He's gonna be the big story tonight. But first, we're gonna have Drew run the 2-minute drill. Now, the way this is gonna work, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions. We're gonna try to get all of them in. Every now and then, I'll add something in, and you got 2 timeouts. Fair enough? 2-minute drill with 2 timeouts.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. All right, let me set the timer here. We are coming back from a commercial break. Here we got the ref setting the ball. 2 minutes on the clock. That means I got to get the plays in quickly. All right, Drew, let's go. 2 minutes going. We got it here. We're down to 158. Stephon Gilmore chose to sign with the Indianapolis Colts. 2 years, $23 million, $14 million guaranteed. That make them a better playoff contender? What's it do for them? What's it do for Stephon Gilmore?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, listen, we don't know if what they have at quarterback this year. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes. Forgot we were doing a quick. Yeah.
Hey, you can talk as much as you want. You got timeouts, bud.
No, I wasted one already, essentially.
Denzel Ward signs a 5-year, $100.5 million contract, $71.25 guaranteed. He is now the highest paid corner in the league. What say you about that deal?
Okay. Don't love it. Don't hate it. I mean, I really don't.
Worth it, but it's a big if, in my opinion. Moving on to the next one. Colin Kaepernick says he's okay being a backup quarterback. You buying this, or is this just more, I want my name out there?
Yeah, no. I typically don't buy anything of the Kaepernick playing football again. Like any of the stories that come out.
Sammy Watkins to the Green Bay Packers. Does Sammy Watkins finally live up to the player we thought he was going to be now that he's got Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, it's not like he was playing with a terrible quarterback. No, he does not.
I mean, he had to play with that Mahomes guy and that Lamar Jackson guy. I mean, these are bad guys. All right. 21 players invited to the NFL draft this year. Who's the last guy picked? Those 21 players are Gardner, Hutchinson, Cross, Olave, Lloyd, Wyatt, Neal, Wilson, Karfalitis, Ekwonu, Johnson, Davis, Thibodeau, Hamilton, Willis, Gordon, Dean, Johnson, Williams, London, and Corral. Who is the last guy picked out of those 21 guys?
Matt Corral.
100%?
Yes, I think so. Don't hold me to that. I know I might have receipts out there next Thursday, but
hey, I'm with you on that one. That's the guy I was going to go with. Scary Terry, A.J. Brown, and Deebo Samuel all want contracts. They want to get money. They want to get paid. Which of those guys gets paid first?
It better be Terry McLaurin, is what my answer is.
Does A.J. Brown stay in?
Look at what Terry. I think that they end up getting that one fine, right? I think they end up coming to terms for him, but yeah.
Go back to Scary Terry before I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, you're good. So I just think what he's done production wise with the quarterback play that he has been given so far in his career, and literally being just the only guy on the outside that could get any production. So I think he deserves to be paid. And Washington needs to pay him. What is the Washington now?
The Commanders.
The Commanders. Okay.
Pretty soon the commandeered football team away from Dan Snyder. That's what that's going to end up being.
I agree.
But that's something for a whole other day. Now, the last guy in that group was a guy by the name of Deebo Samuel, and Deebo taking the 420 headlines because Deebo has officially asked the San Francisco 49ers for a trade. Now, Deebo is in the last year of a 4-year, $22 million contract. He is scheduled to make just about $5 million this year. Deebo wants to get paid, but he also doesn't want to be a running back anymore.
Right.
Are there any teams that should not be in the Deebo Samuel sweepstakes?
I mean, I think everybody should make the call, but I think it's going to come down to if he the versatility he brings is the reason he wants to try to get the $30 million he wants to get. Like, so then if you just want to be a receiver and you kind of take away that creativity that you can have offensively, now you're still wanting the top dollar. I don't know if Deebo Samuel's a top 5 wide receiver, just wide receiver. But I feel like the way that he was used last year is why he was a first team All Pro and just electric, and he has been, right? I mean, but I think you have to take that in consideration.
Deebo is the jack of all trades. I mean, this is the guy that we've known to love and expect, and I get that he doesn't want to do this, but you hit it dead on by saying this is what made him. This is the guy's body. We look at him, he's not the typical wide receiver. He's a big body, short. I mean, he's not that short, but thick, stout dude who looks like he's got the running back body, but he's got the talent of the wide receiver. I mean, he does a little bit of everything for the Niners, and taking him away from Kyle Shanahan, does that also take away his value to a team overall?
Oh, yeah, because I think that there's some coaching staffs that won't know how to utilize him correctly, right? Like Kyle Shanahan has done a fantastic job, and he really does it with all his offensive players. I mean, think of what he's gotten out of the running game, no matter who's been, in the backfield. So, I mean, there's certainly some coaches where I don't think that if he went to that situation, may be able to get what Kyle Shanahan got out of him.
77 catches, 1,405 yards, 18.2 average, 6 touchdowns, and that's just receiving. Deebo Samuel is a hell of a football player, but you hit it perfectly. The fact that they move him all over the field makes those 77 catches available. He's playing with Jimmy Garoppolo, who isn't out there all the time. He had to deal with, the rookie quarterback at some points, and he gets the job done. But I think do you think here, I'll just stop with whatever I was rambling about and say, does he actually get traded?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I can't see it. Like, why? Why, if you're San Francisco, do you trade him?
Because it sounds like it's more than just a contract situation. Like he's pissed off, I guess, that he didn't like the way that he was used last year as far as, how many carries, touches he was getting on a given week. And so I think that might have rubbed him the wrong way. But I mean, it's too kind of early into this to make like any speculation about that. But I definitely think he ends up getting dealt, and Kyle Shanahan will have his hands full because he certainly was a big part of that offense.
He was. Probably 70% of the offense either went through him or revolved around what he could do. And I understand they're a running football team, and they can get 1,000 yards with almost any back, from Jeff Wilson to Raheem Mostert to anyone except for the guy they drafted out of Ohio State and Trey Sermon, who looks like a bust of a pick at this point. He did almost nothing last year. Elijah Mitchell took almost all the carries away from him. But what are you giving up for Deebo if you're a team? Is it more than what Tyreek Hill cost? Or you think it's similar, or is it less?
I don't know. I think it's probably going to be similar. I mean, Miami gave up quite a bit, right, to get Tyreek Hill. And again, you're going to have to, like Miami did, give him this giant contract. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. It's a big pill to swallow, but I don't think it's going to be anything significantly more than what the previous trade was. You know what I mean? I don't see it being considerably more, like another first round pick and a second round pick. I just don't see that happening.
So a team with 2 first round picks, say the Jets or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Detroit Lions, or maybe even the Green Bay Packers, all those teams would be teams that would make sense, and they all have double first round picks. Out of those 4 teams that I just mentioned, where's the most likely landing spot?
I'm going to let you answer this first. What do you think?
The Jets have been looking all offseason for a wide receiver. They'd give almost anything, and they have a quarterback on a rookie contract. They're a team that thinks they can win now. They may not actually be a team that can win now, but they think they can. New York, big spotlight. Deebo loves the spotlight. I think that's a perfect fit for him. I think they're the team with Joe Douglas that throws out the most, starting with pick number 10 to try to get Deebo Samuel. Now, the reason I was kind of surprised when you said, yes, you believe he gets traded is because you look at this draft. And we've talked about it, back and forth, that we think a lot of wide receivers are going to go in the first round because of the value of the wide receiver we've seen this year, with Christian Kirk basically blowing everything up and getting 21 million on average, making guys like Amari Cooper at 20 million look like steals. And then the Devontae Adams deal goes down. He's almost 30 million a year. Tyreek gets more money right after that. There's a lot of guys in the first round, and you can look at these kids and think, oh, they're going to be good. But I don't think any of them will be Deebo Samuel. There's a lot of really good players here. I love Chris Olave. I love Garrett Wilson. I think Drake London can be a star. Jameson Williams, coming back from the injury, can be a star. But none of these guys are going to be Deebo Samuel type players. I think he's that good as an all-around player, and I think he needs to accept that role. And before San Francisco and him decide on a divorce, they need to slow things a little bit. But I understand from San Francisco's part, if they don't think there's anything going on, they've got to move him before the draft this week.
No, I agree. I agree with the Jets 100%. And the reason is, to your point, every big name free agent that's become available, they were going after, right? Mm-hmm. They've not shied away. They were in the sweepstakes for pretty much anybody up to the last minute. Tyreek Hill was Dolphins and the Jets. So they're willing to throw cash around. It's just tough, man. I guess Deebo, it's not like Deebo had wonderful quarterbacking, right? When he was in, San Fran. But so you go to Zach Wilson, younger. They have, I don't know. It's just, for me, the Jets, it's like, okay, you can go acquire this, but like, are you anywhere in the process to where you're willing to give up assets for one player and then pay him a significant amount of money? I don't know. But do I think the Jets would do it? Absolutely.
I think they absolutely would have to think about doing it, because even when I look at the mock draft I did, if you keep that fourth pick, you can build your offensive line, which you still need to do, I believe, because we don't know what Mekhi Becton really is. They've got pieces on that offensive line, but if Becton isn't that stud Bryant McKinney style left tackle, then you got nothing, because you need that stalwart left tackle to keep your quarterback upright. And that's why I look at a guy like, we'll talk about the mock draft later here, but I can see them looking at a tackle who can also play guard at that spot at number 4. So at number 10, if you can move that 10 spot and maybe a second rounder and maybe even think about moving to 1 next year, if you can pull off some kind of deal like that, I think the Jets have to do it. Looking at the other teams, the Chiefs, if they didn't want to pay Tyreek Hill, do they want to pay Deebo Samuel?
Again, if you're the Chiefs, how many giant contracts do you want to have under one roof? Because there's quite a few of them, right? And that's the reason you had to let Tyreek Hill go. Tyreek Hill was perfect for what this offense was. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying Deebo Samuel wouldn't be fantastic, but the difference is, Cheetah was the fastest wide receiver in the league. And so the things he can do, and I'm not that Deebo can't do a lot of these things, but when you have the peak speed like that, that's a big deal. So to me, it's like, why would you take a guy that is fit in this offense great, not pay him, and then turn around and pay, Deebo? It just doesn't make sense. But the Chiefs will be in it. They'll be trying to figure out what they can do, because that's kind of what winning teams do, right? They're looking to poach this guy now, whether they mortgage the future, they're just trying to win a Super Bowl. Look at that. I mean, the Rams, for example. And it's rare that the Rams, they're actually keeping a Super Bowl team intact for the most part, which is it's pretty impressive, I guess.
It is. And they've worked the salary cap masterfully. I mean, they know what to do with their salary cap. They stretch contracts. They'll convert signing bonuses, and it's worked for them. And maybe teams are learning from them finally and knowing that these mystery boxes, they're exactly that. They're mystery boxes. I mean, we've talked about it on this show for 3 years now. Draft is a mystery box. And when you can get a proven thing, I mean, you could get a pick. It could be Deebo Samuel, or you could actually get Deebo Samuel. Now, I am with you on the Chiefs probably being the least likely of these teams. And that puts up your Detroit Lions as probably my third most likely team for him, because I think they'd start with 32, maybe even talk about a Rams pick next year, maybe a pick in the future. They'd start there. Now, is that a good fit considering you've got Jared Goff, who we saw what Jared Goff really was last year. He's okay at times, but he's still afraid to throw the ball downfield. He's not the guy that we saw him be with Sean McVay. Now, this is a team that wants to run. I could see Dan Campbell wanting to also line Deebo up in the backfield to really throw teams off. And it makes sense because that's what this guy is good at. What kind of fit is he for your team there in Detroit?
when the DK Metcalf rumors came out, I liked that fit considerably more, kind of in what the Lions are trying to do right now. But still, if the Lions could add Deebo Samuel, I mean, here's the deal. If the Lions really believe that Jared Goff's your guy, throw all the cards out there, get him weapons. You add him, the Mon-Ra, and DJ Chark and Hawk and Swift, like that in a top 5 to 10 offensive line. That's a damn good offense, right? Mm-hmm. Again, the Lions will never do it because the Lions don't really do stuff like that, like make big moves. We just like kind of get like, I don't know.
It's a new era, baby. It's the Dan Campbell era.
We get like the rollback
for the fences.
We get like the rollback prices, like kind of guys. So I'm not saying that the fit would be bad. I just don't know how Deebo would enjoy going to Detroit. It's not the city made out for, like, it's not, being in LA or being in New York. So I don't know. He could fit in any offense. I just would be shocked if the Lions were in this at all.
And that brings us to the number 2 team that we mentioned, the Green Bay Packers. Now, they were ready to give Devontae Adams $30 million.
Yeah,
they're ready to spend that money. They need a weapon. They've got picks 22 and where's the other pick? 28. Would they give up 22 and 28 to get Deebo Samuel?
If there's a team that I think should, it would be them. Like, outside of, like, because I know we're saying who is going to, and I think it's going to be the Jets. Because what have the Packers shown the ability to be aggressive to put anybody around Aaron Rodgers, right? Devontae Adams was there the whole time. The fact that he left Green Bay being offered $30 million a year right after Rodgers says I'm coming back, it's like, wow, that was kind of weird. But yeah,
with Derek Carr's got to be super strong.
Yeah, yes, and I like Derek Carr, but I think he'd be a great fit there. I just don't know if the Packers clearly haven't shown us they're being aggressive about surrounding him with anybody for multiple years. So I don't know if now they feel the pressure because now they're signing like bum players to play wide receiver and paying guys that money they shouldn't be. So I think the fit's, of course, better than the Jets, but I think the Jets are more likely.
I'm 100% with you on all this. The Jets are the most likely spot. If I'm the Chiefs, I'd keep 29 and 30, and I try to get younger guys with those lower contracts, and I develop them. I think a Treylon Burks is a good fit for them. They also need help in the secondary. They need help all over the place. They need to make sure that they keep building around Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, these studs they have. Let those guys make the money, and then eventually their money goes off the books, and you've got these other guys coming up. I think that's how you build when you give that massive contract out. Eventually, you have to start building through the draft with some pieces. And yes, I know I just said mystery boxes are mystery boxes, but you can only have so much damn money at this point. Yeah. And when you put out $500 million,
like teams can just like make money appear.
It's amazing. Like watching what Andrew Berry has done here in Cleveland. Like I've been breaking down Browns moves.
Money.
We have more salary cap now than we started with, and we've added Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper. They keep adding guys, and giving Denzel Ward the contract gave them $8.5 million more money. They're going to have like $41 million eventually come June 1st cuts once Hooper comes off, and if they trade Baker Mayfield. It's bonkers how the salary cap works. I'm never going to try to understand it. I'm just going to follow along.
Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It makes sense to like, I realize they just like restructure these things and give like just salary bonuses. And like, I guess there's probably ways to manipulate it, but teams go from like, they're like the Saints, like they couldn't sign anybody and they're like out in sweepstakes for all kinds of guys. It's like, where'd you get some money from? Like what happened between the end of football season and now? Like nothing. Like where'd you get all this money?
They were $46 billion over the salary cap. Like they were the national deficit above the salary cap, and all of a sudden they're like, "We got money again."
Yeah, it's like, who'd you get this money from in the last few months? What have you been doing? Like some sketchy
bill collectors calling, like, "Wait, you guys got money now?" Like,
yeah,
what the hell's going on? They went to J.G. Wentworth and got their cash that was owed to them, and they fixed it all. And that's how things go. But yeah. Deebo Samuel, most likely fit. I'm with you. It's the Jets. And they've been looking for the guy, so it fits. But for these other teams, build through the draft. I think that's the best way to go, especially with these multiple picks and the holes. If you want to win now, Deebo's great, and maybe the Packers it fits, but not for the Chiefs. The Lions, why not? They're not spending money on anything right now.
Literally nothing. They've had an extremely quiet offseason.
Even though coming up, they do get their quarterback in the future in my mock draft.
Yep, that's right.
Is it number 2 or number 32? That's the question. That's coming up in a little bit. But first, it's 4:20. We're going to continue the smoke here with some draft smoke. It is what we have called many times. I think you especially call this silly season.
Yes.
And that has been the most wild NFL offseason probably in history. Think about how long this offseason's felt. Remember Malik McDowell walking naked through Florida? That was 3 months ago. That was this offseason 3 months ago. Remember when Alvin Kamara beat the shit out of a guy right before the Pro Bowl and then they let him play? That was only a couple months ago, and yet we're all forgetting about that.
Pro Bowl's a big deal, dude. Yeah. You gotta understand.
Gotta let him play in the Pro Bowl, which 8 people may have watched. The dudes there weren't even watching it. They have to fix this. Play tag or something. I watched the dodgeball. I didn't watch the game. There has been so much.
Game. Did people watch that game?
I think some.
Wow.
They keep putting it on TV.
Skill shit, didn't they?
I watched that. Yeah, that was fun.
See, I'm in for the skill stuff. Like, I'm cool with that, but I don't need to see you go out and not even try. Like, I don't have.
Mac Jones ran for a 71-yard touchdown. That tells you how much guys were trying. Mac Jones is one of the few NFL players that my hobbling one-legged ass could probably tackle from behind at some point. We may have to run for 30,000 yards, but eventually I would catch up to him and tackle.
I'm like, dude, Mac Jones is probably way faster than you.
Oh, he's faster than me, but eventually I could catch him.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I probably couldn't get him either.
I would probably have to throw my helmet at him.
Yeah. Throw something at his foot to trip him. And then you'd be in good shape from that point on.
Now, I may be full of shit on this, but that's the point. 71-yard touchdown for Mac Jones tells you how not important the Pro Bowl is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we are now awesome.
We are now to the draft, and silly season gets even more crazy because I think we've got a week until the draft, 8 days exactly. And I think things are going to get even crazier. We're hearing all this talk about Trayvon Walker being the number 1 pick. Are you buying the smoke, or is it just that? Smoke.
Yeah, it's smoke. So here's kind of what happens in the draft cycle. We have kind of who we think coming out of college is going to go where they're going to go. Mm-hmm. And then somehow, nothing, they play no games, nothing, they have no stats, they have nothing since then to the draft. The only thing that gets in there is the combine. And then what happens with the talking heads is they start with this mock and they go all kinds of crazy, batshit crazy. And then the mock kind of comes back to what we always thought. Mm-hmm. I think that the draft breaks down not with Walker going first. I mean, again, the guy's sack numbers in college, on one of the best defenses ever, just not there. And I know that production's not necessarily that important, but how did the 2 edge guys get jumped by him? I just don't see that happening.
I'm with you.
Now, I mean, it is the Jags, though, dude.
Our boy
everybody says the Jags don't even want the pick. They're would rather be elsewhere. And I mean, I get that because I don't think there's a consensus 1 in this draft. However, I don't think that he's jumping all the way up to 1.
No. Listen, athletically, and follow @MathBomb on Twitter. Check out the relative athletic score, the RAS. This dude was a 10, which is perfect almost. Athletically, Trayvon Walker, phenomenal. Unbelievable athletics. But that's what it is. It's just athletics. It's not on the football field. We're going back to the underwear Olympics where it doesn't matter.
Thing I heard, too. I heard his pass rush win percentage was the 2 guys ahead of him. Aiden Hutchinson was at 33%. Mm-hmm. Kayvon Thibodeau was at 31%. And he was at 11%. So, athleticism aside, athleticism doesn't, necessarily fall into being an elite pass rusher. And I'm not saying he can't get there because you can't really improve, you become ultimately athletic after you've already gone there. You can learn skills, but some guys just have a knack for getting after the quarterback, and some don't. And when you look at those pass win rate percentages, you're like, okay, Do I want a guy that's on, pass rushing downs, winning 3 out of 10 times? Or do I got one that is winning 1 out of 10 times, and that's in college?
And remember that Aiden Hutchinson was playing across from one guy who was probably a first-round pick in David Ojabo.
Yeah.
Kayvon Thibodeau had no one on that line.
In the second round, I think.
Meanwhile,
he's still a great talent.
Trayvon Walker was on a defense absolutely stacked with first-round picks. So when he wasn't a standout at that point, what is it going to take in the NFL for him to be that good? Does he have the ability to be that good? Yes. Should he be picked over the other guys? No. And that's a giant mystery box. And you said it. There is no consensus number one. But at the same time, this is smoke right now. And I get it. Yes, there are the Aldon Smith without all the off-field stuff comparisons. And Trent Baalke was the guy who picked Aldon Smith in San Francisco. But for me, smoke. No fire, just smoke. Nothing there.
Agree.
Next question. Kayvon Thibodeau's met with many teams. The Detroit Lions don't like him, apparently, with Dan Campbell saying, yeah, he's not my kind of guy. Is this true? Do the Detroit Lions actually not like Kayvon Thibodeau?
Smoke.
How
often do you hear reports about how teams don't like kids? Like, they don't, like, that's not like something that's really published. Like oh, Jets said they hated, like, you know what I mean? Like, no teams just like blatantly say, yeah, we don't like that guy. Like, that's not something teams do. Like, I don't think if Kayvon Thibodeau's there at 2, I believe that'll be the pick of the Lions. I mean, listen, I could be completely wrong, but I would say smoke for that situation.
I'm with you. Because most time when you hear these things, when a team doesn't like a guy, it's because they don't want other guys to jump them. Now, obviously, the Lions in there too, not a lot of teams going to jump them probably.
Yeah.
But
sweet plan, dude.
It could happen.
Nobody will jump up to 1.
Especially with the Jags. God only knows what they're going to do right now. And I'm hoping that they don't take either edge guy. I'm sticking with one guy at number 1. We'll get to that later. But right now, I'm saying I understand Kayvon Thibodeau's not as big as some guys think he is. And there are the worries that he's not 100% interested on the field. It's not his number one thing. But these are all the same things they said about Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. Exactly.
Okay.
Like, now last year, Micah Parsons, they were like, oh, yeah, Micah Parsons, and they, yeah, well, I kind of was there too. But listen, that, like, we have to think back. It was like those same concerns were there last year, and he was Defensive Player of the Year.
But you know what? For all the people who know we've gotten some wrong, you know who we got right? And keep in mind, we will have our draft show next Thursday, our second draft show, which will be better than our first one because after the 18th pick, every answer for everything was Trayvon Diggs. And Trayvon Diggs is pretty solid cornerback for the most part. Now he's an all or nothing guy, but that was our guy 2 years ago. You know it. He's a fan favorite here at the Full Coverage.
I can't promise you I'm not screaming some random name after pick 18 again. Look, there's no promises here.
It might happen. I'm going to try to stay a little more sober than I was that
time. No, I will do that as well.
By the time pick 23 came around, it wasn't Trayvon Diggs anymore. Trayvon Diggs, I don't know. It was just Trayvon Diggs.
Remember last year I was on vacation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went on a golf trip. I passed out at like pick 3. It was a day, right? There was some golfing and some cocktails being consumed at like pick 3. I passed out. I woke up and I'm like, my cousin's sitting there and I'm like, hey man, you got to give me like a break. What happened? So
draft night is a phenomenal night. Just chill, watch stuff and drink. And we will be here to give our opinions and have some fun. And hopefully you join us and have a drink. And the draft show won't be on the podcast version of the show because who wants to sit there and listen for 4.5 hours of us slurring our words by this third or fourth hour?
To things you already know exist because you can just look on your phone.
Back to the draft smoke. 4 quarterbacks will go in the first round.
I don't think so.
I can't argue that. I got 3 in this mock, and I don't even feel comfortable about any of them.
I don't think so because I don't think the Lions. Everybody thinks the Lions are going to take a quarterback at 32. I don't think they're doing that.
The only reason they do, and I do have a quarterback going to them at that pick, the only reason I think they would is that 5th round option. I think that's the biggest reason to take a quarterback in the first round is that 5th round option or 5th year option.
But I think they kind of all blow.
They're the mystery box, and I'm with you. I don't feel comfortable with any of these guys.
There's probably like a good defensive player, like a nice safety that we could use there.
At 32, I would take a linebacker if I was them because I don't think Jared Davis is all that good, even though they brought him home, baby.
Like if Evan Neal slips to that, not Evan Neal, the Georgia linebacker,
Nakobe
Dean. Yep, thank you. If he slips into the second round due to injury concerns, then that's a nice player to be able to get.
Yeah,
I mean, look at how many the Georgia defensive players are going to go high up in this draft.
Let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Georgia players in the first round.
Yeah,
my mock draft.
Ridiculous, dude.
That's how good that team was.
What a defense that was.
I mean, it was loaded, and I mean, I got. Let's see. It's 5 defense players and 1 offensive player from Georgia. Okay. I mean, that team's absolutely stacked.
Yeah,
and even a guy like the linebacker out of Wyoming, Chad. I don't know if it's Muma or Muma, M-U-M-A. Haven't looked up how to pronounce his name yet. But that's a guy at 32. If he's there, I think it's a great pick for your Detroit Lions because I think they do need linebacker help. And why not add that to the edge guy that they're going to get? Next smoke.
Can I give a quick breaking news?
Yes.
Miguel Cabrera, 3 for 3 at 2,999 hits. 1 hit away from 3,000. So that's cool. And he's old and just hit singles now, and he's off the books next year. So that's awesome.
What's he making this year? 38 mil?
Yeah, something. Yeah, ridiculous. It's like
still. This guy's been around since the 2003 Florida Marlins won a title.
Yeah, my favorite thing, and this is a way off topic, is like I didn't know like Ken Griffey Jr. was still getting paid like $5 million a year from the Reds.
Yeah,
and Chris Davis is the highest paid player on the Orioles payroll.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not playing. These baseball contracts are wild, dude.
They're perfect. And I mean, Bobby Bonilla's still getting paid.
Yeah, he's like, I'll take $1 million a year. That's all I need. Just do him 100.
It's amazing because
so good.
I mean, my team spends no money for the most part. They finally did this year, the Guardians. Now that I got used to that, but they finally spend a fairly good amount there to keep one of their own players. And I'm just imagining like. They don't have any of these players. They don't pay anyone. I'm like, who could be, like? Are they still paying Albert Bell money or Juan Gonzalez, something like that from early 2000? No, they got no one. But it is good for your team.
Sizemore's getting like $3 million a year for no reason.
Grady Sizemore would have been great if he didn't get injured. And this is a full coverage baseball show. This is a draft smoke. We smoked you guys and decided to talk baseball midway. But I did see that it was 2 for 2 for Miggy when we started this, and I was going to bring that up at some point. And now he's 3 for 3. He hits it. Miggy is one of the greatest players of all time. Better player overall, Albert Pujols or Miguel Cabrera?
Miguel Cabrera.
That's tough.
I think Miguel Cabrera is the second best hitter of my lifetime.
Who's number 1?
Barry Bonds. I mean, Barry Bonds is the best baseball player to ever live. All right, I know. Full baseball. I'm sorry.
Hey, no.
I'm
put Barry and Roger Clemens in the Hall of Fame baseball, okay?
And you could argue top 5, but you can't really put Miguel Cabrera outside the top 5, at least of my 35 years on this planet.
Yeah, he's been a star. I mean, he was there at the Steve Bartman game. That's how long he has been in the league, and for most of his career, he killed it.
Yeah, now I had to watch singles hitter, and he's like 40. So, but hey, listen, man.
Hey, the man's worth it. I hope he comes back next year as a DH and just hits 400 with singles, nothing but singles. That's the kind of guy he is. Now back to the draft smoke. Let's see what else we had here.
Sorry. It was an exciting update I saw.
It was. And while we're doing breaking news of other sports, Villanova head coach Jay Wright has decided to retire.
I saw that. That's
big news. That guy went to 3 of the last 6 Final Fours at Nova. Like
best dressed coach in all college basketball. And a damn good coach too at Villanova, to your point. Like he did really good things.
And a guy I would never want to play poker with. Dude keeps a straight face no matter what.
Remember when they won the 3-pointer to win the national championship, and dude had no reaction, just shook
none. I thought he was dead.
It's the coldest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like what? Like, no emotion? He's just like, okay. Like it was like some exhibition game in Maui.
His Fitbit, his like blinking, like you have 0 heart rate right now. Yeah, like, what's going on? He's like, thanks.
He's like, I died for a few moments. Yeah. Any soccer news at all? Any cricket?
There is some sad soccer news. Soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo did lose his son this week.
What?
It's, twins.
All right.
He had twins, one girl, one boy, and the son died, and that was sad.
All right. Rest in peace. Let's go back.
That's all I got for soccer.
All right. Thank God. Thank God. Let's go back to smoke because damn it. Shouldn't ask about. I don't know why I would ask about soccer.
Before we even get into the mock, we'll finish with the mock. It is 420. We've talked about smoke. We've talked about Deebo because Deebo's fitting because Friday is probably my favorite smoke movie of all time. I was going to pull up a list of the best 420 movies, marijuana, smoke, weed movies, whatever you want to call them. And this list I found was absolutely terrible. Half Baked wasn't on the list. I mean, all kinds of random stuff wasn't on the list. Up in Smoke wasn't on the list. This was a terrible list. Drew, what is the best weed, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, doobie, smoking, 420, get high, baby, that kind of stuff movie?
It's Half Baked for sure. You brought up Half Baked. Half Baked is the best one. The perfect characters, Dave Chappelle, like that is by far my favorite one.
I still quote one line from that movie every time I'm talking to a girl and she's talking about eating. And I just go, "You hungry, girl?" When the dude's feeding the horse. It's the only line I remember from the whole damn movie. And I will constantly ask someone at least once a week, "You hungry, girl?" That's all I remember from that whole damn movie.
You should go back and watch it. I think I watched it a couple of years ago. And it was I don't want to say it was less funny. It was more weird than I remember it being. Because, it's been around for quite some time.
As long as Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah. Probably. That's a good movie. I'm all about that one. I mean, but I mean, How High was a good one too. I remember that. But I'm gonna go with Half Baked. What's your go-to here?
It's Friday. Any of the Fridays. I love those damn movies.
They're funny.
I can put Friday on anytime. I could be in the worst mood ever. I'll put Friday on and at least laugh 40 times in 20 minutes.
How often would you say you put Friday on?
Anytime it's on USA, and I feel like they play it like once a month.
Dude, I go over to my dad's house. He's always watching this USA show. I bet that show's on all the time on that network.
What show is it?
Friday.
I thought you were talking about something else.
I think that's what I was talking about, at least.
I'm like, wait, your dad's watching Friday? All right, cool. I thought you said your dad was watching some other show on USA.
Oh, yeah, USA. I don't know. Just whatever. Let's move on.
By the way, I'm not high right now. I know that for sure.
I'm not either.
Neither of us are high right now, so anyone following along with this show thinking they are stoned out of their mind. No, this is just us, dude.
Yep. No worry.
No, now maybe later I'll take a little gummy to help me sleep tonight.
I love this green screen. Like sometimes makes me look like I got like a grill, like a bunch of like silver or gold teeth. All right.
So I'm doing the show here with Paul Wall, and we're talking about smoking weed and the best movies. But what about Pineapple Express?
Oh shit! I forgot about Pineapple Express. Yeah. That would be probably number 2 for me. Pineapple Express is a good one. That actually, yeah, I should watch that movie. That's another one I should turn on.
These are a bunch
that
of
movie's on.
Watch.
That movie's on TV quite a bit.
They're just not the same though on TV. Like I watch Friday, but it's because I know what they're already gonna say, and it's just not the same when you're watching on like USA though, because you're getting everything edited.
Oh,
like, you got Not the Freak Out, and they change it to someone else's voice who tries to sound.
Yeah, but so what? Do you stream it? You got DVDs? Like
I actually have all 3 Fridays on DVD.
Do you still rock a DVD player?
I have a DVD drive in my Xbox that I've never used. I have them on DVD. Doesn't mean I've watched them on DVD.
No, I just don't like. I guess. I guess DVD players are still needed, right?
Yeah, and I have to watch a DVD this weekend because every time I want to watch a movie with the kids, like I go on all these streaming channels I have, and they don't have it. Like my kids have never seen The Sandlot. Oh, wow. I'm like, we got to watch The Sandlot. So
that's
I
a good
go on all these streaming sites.
That. That's a good movie. That's a good bonding flick.
That's a damn good movie. We're gonna have some hot dogs and s'mores and like baseball style it up.
Yeah. In perfect timing for baseball season. Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly.
I like that.
Great movie. But yeah, that's not a stoner movie, but hey, it's great.
Here we go. We've gone smoke to just we're losing air pressure here, folks. We're losing air pressure.
You want to get back to football?
Sure.
All right, let's bust out my mock draft. Let's do that here. Let me make sure I got this all set up here. Let's pull up my mock draft. All right, I don't know if you can see it all the way. Let me change this thing here. Let's go to this one. Nope, that one's not going to work. Here we go. There's my mock draft. I don't know if y'all can see it. I will read it off real quick for those listening on the podcast. At number 1, I have Evan Neal, tackle out of Alabama, going to the Jags. Number 2, Aiden Hutchinson to the Lions. Sauce Gardner at 3 to the Texans. Ike Mekwanu at 4 to the Jets. Charles Cross at 5 to the Giants. Derek Stingley Jr. at 6 to the Carolina Panthers. Kyle Hamilton at 7 to the Giants again. Garrett Wilson at 8 to the Falcons. Kayvon Thibodeau at 9 to the Seattle Seahawks. And at 10, Drake London to the Jets. We'll stop right there for now. Drew, what do you like and what do you not like in that top 10 so far? If you caught any of that as I ran it off really fast.
No, I did. And I'm looking at it too. Things that stand out, Kayvon Thibodeau falling to 9. Mm-hmm. Don't love that, but could potentially happen. Evan Neal at 1. That's kind of where the process started, right? Like I was saying earlier, everybody with Evan Neal was going to go kind of 1, or Aiden Hutchinson, I guess. I still think Aiden Hutchinson goes 1. I think Thibodeau goes 2, but I could see this. Sauce going 3. Man, that's high to take a corner. However, dude gave up 0 touchdowns in his really entire career, I believe. I do agree that Kyle Hamilton slips a little bit. The thing that I find somewhat surprising, as much as I like Derek Stingley, that you have them not selecting a quarterback there.
I don't like any of these quarterbacks. I couldn't put them that high in my draft right now. This is my first mock.
Okay. And no, I mean, yeah. No, I mean, listen, I think that the 10 players that you have are, most of them are going to be taken. I think I could see Stingley, Stingley's easily going to be a top 10. Evan Neal is going to be an interesting one to me. Mm-hmm. I want to see, I think that he potentially could be the second tackle taken off the board. We'll see what happens.
I agree with that. And I think he could even be number 3 because I think it's all, I mean, with the draft, when you look at these and when we hear everyone talk, including us, it's what fits for each team, and each team has different fits in the way they believe it. Correct. Now, the reason I went with Evan Neal at 1 is because I think eventually the Jags come to their senses and realize you have to keep the franchise upright. And yes, they franchise tagged Cam Robinson. Cam Robinson can slide inside and play guard. And I think Evan Neal is a guy who can play tackle and be way better than anything you're going to get out of Cam Robinson.
The thing with the Jags, though, is nobody knows what the hell they're going to do.
No, that's the problem.
They're like the new school Raiders. Like they play like they paid Christian Kirk like they didn't watch his tape.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, God only knows what they're going to do. Do you think Drake London's better wide receiver than Garrett Wilson?
No.
Okay.
And I think the Jets, even if Garrett Wilson's there, I think Drake London's the guy. I think he fits more what they want to do. I think Drake London, as far as wide receiver, I think he's almost a guarantee to go to the Jets at that number 10 pick if he's there. That's how strong I feel about that pick, actually. Right. And from reading and talking to random people and listening to what people are saying, Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, is a guy who slides a little bit, but not as far as a lot of people want to say. Like, there's some people talking about him falling into the 20s.
Those people are dumb.
And it's because more so of size and is not knowing if he really loves football. But I just can't see him sliding past
if
number
9.
If he
falls into the 20s, I will I was going to say shave my head, but I don't really want to do that. I will be pissed.
How would you feel? Let's say he does slide into the 20s. Let's just go crazy because this whole offseason has been crazy and made no sense. Let's keep with the hypotheticals. How about your team moves up and ends up with Hutchinson and Thibodeau?
Sign me up. Can never have enough fat guys.
We're going to have streaking Drew if that happens. Just getting up, just ripping clothes off and sprinting across the field here. That's how crazy that would be. Now, the other picks, I like Ekwonu there for with the Jets because I think that's a guy where if Mekhi Becton doesn't work out, I think Ekwonu, I can't say that damn name. Ekwonu is a great fit at guard. I think he can be a stud guard, but I also think he's a very good left tackle that comes down to it. So not only is it a fallback plan, but he's also a guy who can be an all-pro at inside. So that's where I went with that. Moving on, let's do 11 through 20. At 11 to the Commanders, the Commandeers, whatever you want to call them. Nakobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia. At 12 to the Vikings, George Karlaftis, edge out of Purdue. Number 13, Jameson Williams out of Alabama. 14, there's that boy Trayvon Walker, and a great fit for him, I believe, to the Baltimore Ravens. 15, Devin Lloyd out of Utah to the Eagles. 16, Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of Washington, goes to the New Orleans Saints. At 17, the Chargers get Bernard Ryman out of Central Michigan and Germany. 18, the Eagles take Andrew Booth Jr. And at number 19, we get the first quarterback off the board, and I believe that's going to be Sam Howell out of North Carolina, and he will go to the Saints. We'll read off 20 to 32 later. What do you think about picks 10 to 19, Drew?
Well, I think one thing that we're going to do, just for content, we're both going to do a final mock draft.
Okay.
And I'll send it to you, or you can give me, and we'll go back and forth during the draft and see how terrible our mock drafts are.
We got to do this.
I think that's a good idea, right?
I don't think anyone's going to hit on the mock drafts this year like some people do. I think it's tougher than it's ever been.
Nobody ever hits on the mock drafts either.
There's some guys who hit like 12 picks easy. I think I hit 9 last year, and that was the best I've done in a long time.
All I know is I was asleep by the third pick. So it's interesting to me. One, now listen, I love Jameson Williams. I think he potentially could be the best wide receiver in the draft. And so I think it's a great fit in Houston. Trayvon Walker slipping down that far will be interesting, right? Like this will be the ultimate. If he goes at 14, this will be the ultimate off-season bullshit. Every year it's off-season bullshit. Oh, these teams like Trayvon Walker. Okay, he goes 14. Great reporting. Awesome stuff. That's why they do mock drafts like 17.0. It's like, dude, we're sick of reading your mock drafts.
That's why I didn't even do one until right now.
It's like we don't need, like, nobody gives a shit about your 17 mock drafts. And people online, you don't have to post a mock draft every day with like 47 trades. Go to work, get some shit done. Like, we don't need that. All right, let me take a look here. I also find it, of course, interesting that Sam Howell is the fourth quarterback off the board. I think Sam Howell, arm talent-wise, and maybe his floor is the highest in this draft. But I do think that a team swings at Malik Willis before this point. I don't know who it's going to be yet. Doesn't Pittsburgh – where's Pittsburgh pick?
20. The next pick that we will read off once we start going, and they do take Malik Willis at 20. But I think you're absolutely right on the fact that some team will trade up because they're going to be scared that someone's going to get their guy, and it happens every year. We see it where teams will trade up to get some guy who doesn't make sense where he gets picked, and most of the time it ends up biting them in the ass. I've seen the Browns trade up for guys like Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, Brandon Whedon, tough stuff like that at pick 22 alone.
Where the Browns taking?
44. We got a quarterback, as long as the law doesn't get in the way. Yeah. Yeah. The Browns tweeting out QB1 in the building yesterday, and a lot of people not happy with that. But hey, the guy's on the roster and he showed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I can't argue any of the other ones. It's just it's weird. Like, I feel like there's going to be this run of wide receivers, and we may be getting to it. I mean, I guess there's already been 3 taken off the board.
Mm-hmm. 3 wide receivers, 1 quarterback.
And this is what sucks about, like, the Lions need a wide receiver, but fucking Matt Stafford won too many damn games. And instead of being like right where we're talking right now, we're picking last.
But you get somebody to replace Matt Stafford at 32. Let's go picks 20 to 32. At 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers get their quarterback of the future out of Liberty, Malik Willis. 21, the New England Patriots get Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State. 22, the Packers replace Devontae Adams with George Pickens, wide receiver out of Georgia. 23, the Cardinals get Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa. 24, Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia goes to the Cowboys. 25, Jordan Davis out of Georgia goes to the Bills. Sky Moore out of Western Michigan goes 26 to the Titans. Zion Johnson out of Boston College goes to the Buccaneers at 27. Jermaine Johnson, the second edge out of Florida State, goes to the Packers. At 29, Lewis Sine, safety out of Georgia once again. 29, that is to the Chiefs. At 30, the Chiefs pick Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. 31, Kenyon Green, guard out of Texas A&M, goes to the Bengals. And at number 32, the Detroit Lions finish off the first round. And this is a pick I believe eventually will get traded. That's how I really feel about this pick. They get quarterback Kenny Pickett and his tiny little hands out of Pittsburgh. Drew, what do you like and what do you not like about those last 12 picks?
I would hate if Chris Olave got drafted by New England because New England can't draft wide receivers. Mm-hmm. So I just hope like that doesn't happen to the young fellow because he's a Buckeye. George Pickens, man, that could be the steal kind of the first round based off kind of everything he's got going on. My hot take of the draft is Jordan Davis goes top 15 is my hot take.
There is a chance.
I think Jordan Davis, like you add him to an offense or like to a defensive line, dude just stuffs the run. Yep. All of a sudden teams aren't going to be able to run against you. And I think he may be a fit earlier in the draft. I mean, I can certainly see him falling as well. Again, with people view him as like kind of a nose tackle where I think he can do so many more things than he just being a giant nose tackle. And of course you want to talk about a guy with crazy combine numbers. Look at what he ran. Guy was, playing like 365. He's like a missile out there. So that would be my hot take. But and then the Kenny Pickett thing, I guess I'm team anti-quarterback at 32 because I think it's a wasting a pick when like you can roll with Goff another season if that's what you have to do. If you love Malik Willis at 2, then just do it, right? Like do it. Don't listen to the outside noise. If that's who you like, just go do it. Because again, we talked about there's no swinging or there's no guy at the top of the draft at consensus. This first round is going to be weird. I'm looking forward to it because I think anything can kind of really happen to an extent. Like I think the wide receivers could be flipped upside down. Like I think that to your point, skill set matters a lot.
Yep.
So
there's 2 spots in the draft that I think will change the entire draft. Obviously, number 1, depending on what the Jags do. And then my next spot is number 14. We know that the Ravens love to move around in the draft, especially in that first round. At 14, I think that's where teams start to think, I've got to jump maybe the Eagles. I've got to jump the Saints. And that's where I need to find a quarterback. So that number 14 pick, I think, is going to be the key to the first round where a team like maybe your team decides, hey, we took Hutchinson at 2. Malik Willis is still there. Let's give up 32 and a third and something else later on in the draft, move up to 14 and get our quarterback, the guy we like. Now, the reason I put Pickett there at 32 for you guys is because I wasn't doing any trades in this first round. And because, obviously, your general manager doesn't mind quarterbacks with small hands. The big thing with Goff coming out is he had the small hands. Pickett, the big thing with him is, he's got small hands. He also plays in a dome here with Detroit. It helps out there.
He played at Pitt. Let's not act like Pitt's like in Florida.
You're telling me it's not 75 and sunny every day in Pittsburgh?
I mean, again, I would be shocked if the Lions took a quarterback.
I think they trade that pick.
Maybe they take one later. But I feel like they're going to give Goff another go, and then once the money comes off the books, kind of go from there.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, the draft right now is such a crapshoot. When I was trying to put this together, I was like,
I hope there's so many trades, dude.
I think we're going to see a lot of trades. I think we're absolutely going to see a ton of trades.
I think it's good for us sitting here talking for like 3.5 hours. If there's like some trades instead of like making us wait 10 minutes for a pick. But I do think there could be some because these seem like a lot of players that could fit certain schemes, certain style that I think teams will kind of identify and make their move at where they see be.
It's going to be an amazing draft because you hit it on the head at the start of the show. There is no consensus, number 1. We don't know what's going to happen. These quarterbacks, we know we don't like them. We've heard the NFL doesn't love them. Maybe nobody jumps at any guys. Maybe some of these people are talking up other players just to make sure.
Like I love Malik Willis in like the 3rd round. You know what I mean? Like that, that's what I'm okay with. Like I think like again, every draft you feel like, there's got to be quarterbacks. There's got to be quarterbacks. I'm just not sure that there are.
And I get the need for quarterback is the most important position in sports. And we can bring it up a million times that 5th-year option is a big deal because it is. Especially with the money a quarterback gets, where you're paying a guy $18 million instead of, $45 million. by year 5. You don't need to do that. You get one extra year. And we always say on this show, you got to build in those first 5 years with your quarterback if you want to win. That's the best way to do it. Who needs a quarterback? Every team needs a great quarterback. There's a lot of teams sitting here that need to either find their next guy or their guy for right now, and nobody's got it. I don't think any of these players, even though you hear guys like Desmond Ridder, who I don't even have in the first round, being, he's the most pro-ready right now.
I don't buy that. A lot of Desmond Ridder. Like, I'm not doing all that.
Desmond Ridder, nice kid. He worked his ass off. He improved every year at Cincinnati, but we'll see. We will see. This is going to be the craziest, most interesting draft we've had in years.
Nice kid.
It's
great.
It's what it is.
No, I love it. It's good stuff.
Who the hell knows what we're going to get? I mean, I didn't even want to put any of these quarterbacks in the first round. That's how non-sold.
You know they're going to get taken. Yeah, it's like it's going to happen. Whether they should be or not is another story. But
I think Devontae
this is always going to be a league of chasing the guy under center, right? If you don't have him, you're going to take as many shots at guys that you have to get it.
And looking at some of the comments about Malik Willis lately, out of all the quarterbacks, he has the most broken tackles. That's not a stat I want for my quarterback. Like, I get he's athletic.
It's not a key stat.
I don't care if he's running and breaking tackles. I want touchdowns.
Most broken tackles.
Good for him.
Sick. He's got the most broken tackles of quarterback. Awesome.
I think Devin Lloyd can also go ahead into Nakobe Dean. That's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, I could see Nakobe Dean slipping down again, to maybe even to the second round, 32 second round. But again, he could. That's kind of hopeful wishing, I guess, on my end.
Mm-hmm.
But
if he's sitting there at 32, y'all better sprint up.
Yeah, to the podium. I better not have to wait to call that one.
No 10 minutes. The second it hits like 9:58, I want that pick. Exactly. Pick is in. All right, now for draft coverage. NFL Network or ESPN? If you had to pick one. And it wasn't us.
Well, you know my thoughts about ESPN in general.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Are you not feeling Booger McFarland and the boys this year?
No. No, I'm not. So if you want to go NFL Network, let's do that. I'm going to set up probably in my draft headquarters in the other room there.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be comfy. I'm going to have the lights lit up, so it looks like I'm kind of sitting where I am now, but no.
There's going to be like no green screen next week, just for the visual listeners out there. Not doing that, not moving a whole green screen. Although I love the people.
We want you to come and join us, but we want you to be comfortable. We're going to be chilling, right. Just hanging out, just dudes hanging out. Dudes being dudes and bros being bros, bruh.
That's right, man.
What we're going to do. Anything else you want to hit on tonight?
No, man. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and let's have some fun. Next week's going to be fun, so join us. It'll be entertaining, as always.
Absolutely. What do you got going on golf-wise?
Monday's Mexico, WG6 in Mexico, so not going to show out Monday, and that's about it golf-wise, man.
Good to hear. Keep an eye on him at Detroit Dave 7. If y'all think he's good at football, he's twice as good at golf, baby. That's the way it rolls. My name's Jeremy. That's Drew. This is the Full Coverage Football Show. We will see you guys next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We'll talk more draft. We'll get ready for that. And then join us next Thursday for our big draft show at 8 p.m. God only knows what's going to happen on that show. We'll have some guests. We'll have some fun. We'll kick ass. But remember, as always, if you live the life you love, you'll love the life you live. Night, kids.